That was a long question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I'm sorry.
The most serious pollution is probably chemical pollution coming from the Pearl River Delta. And that obviously is a real conservation challenge because the Hong Kong government has no control over pollution coming down from the Pearl River Delta. So it requires cross-border cooperation between the authorities, and there are hundreds of thousands of factories in the Pearl River Delta, some of which have very good standards, some of which don't, and are quite happy to dump pollutants in the river. So cracking down on pollution coming from the Pearl River Delta is very difficult. The Chinese government is serious about tackling the issue, but there are so many factories that it's going to take quite a long time. It's just very difficult to enforce for so many. I think there's 85,000 Hong Kong factories, Hong Kong-owned factories alone. So that's probably the most serious in terms of kind of pollutants in the water. In terms of air pollution, I am not aware that anybody has ever shown that air pollution actually affects dolphins, all right, or marine mammals. So if it affects humans, which it does in Hong Kong, all right, with about 1,200 people supposed to be dying prematurely in Hong Kong, then probably they're mammals as well. It probably does have some impact, but I think the answer is we've got no data on that. So I'm not sure how serious a problem air pollution is. Noise pollution is a problem. It's unlikely to be fatal, I think, in most cases. There's a lot of boat traffic in that area. There has been for years, boats going between Hong Kong and Macau, Hong Kong Zhuhai, Hong Kong Guangzhou, and a lot of high-speed ferries as well. So there's probably more of a danger of collision with the ferries than from the noise pollution itself. The government does have restrictions on how much noise can result from a development project, and there are different ways that you can, if you're laying a cable, if you're laying a pipeline, there are ways to make it a bit quieter. So there are some restrictions in place. Development in that area. We've done some calculations, and over the past 12 years, the dolphins have lost 1,700 hectares of habitat, of which the biggest was the airport. Okay, the airport was built in prime dolphin habitat, and obviously that area has been lost forever. The most recent proposed development is the LNG terminal in the Soko Islands. That will involve some reclamation. We're more concerned about a pipeline that will need to be laid. I think it's about 17 kilometers that will need to be laid right through dolphin habitat from the Soko Islands to the Black Point power station. And there are a number of projects which, to be honest, are much bigger in scale than the LNG terminal. Right? The airport authorities announced that it wants to build another runway, a third runway, so that would have to be reclaimed from the sea, almost certainly. There's the possibility of building a huge container port, right, CT10, on the west side of Lantau, around Tai O. There is also the Macau-Zhuhai Bridge, which will go again right through dolphin habitat. On the mainland side, there is quite a substantial marine protected area for the dolphin, but at the moment they are dredging a big channel right through the middle of it so that ships can get, container ships can get up to Shekou, which is just north of Hong Kong. So there's an awful lot of disturbance in that area at the moment. The projects like this within Hong Kong have to go through the Environmental Impact Assessment Ordinance. Now these environmental impact assessments, which is something that WWF pushed for a long time ago, are crucial and they're pretty good. But one of the things where they really fall down is that they only examine each development in isolation, right? And basically any disturbance from actually building is always considered temporary. So, for example, the environmental impact assessment for the Soko Islands doesn't mention at all these other projects coming up. It doesn't consider them. It doesn't have to consider them. So we consider that a real problem. And you can't keep arguing that all of this disturbance is temporary, right? If you put together the complete loss of habitat from reclamation, the continued disturbance from existing operations and from new things going in, you have to say that if we keep going like this, sooner or later the dolphin will go extinct. There's no way that you can just keep on adding, and putting more and more disturbance in their habitat without the population going into decline. So WWF is very concerned about this, and that's one of the main reasons why we've launched this No Go to Socos campaign. I mean, the Soco Islands are supposed to be a marine park for both the Chinese white dolphin and the finless porpoise. It's the only area in Hong Kong where both of them occur in the same place. The government itself said it was a valuable area and it should be made a marine park, and then the government decided they would allow an LNG terminal to be built in that area. So the dolphins don't seem to have many friends at the moment.
That's a sad story. The other day we joined this dolphin watch tour, and in the website it mentioned that this is a program in collaboration with WWF. It mentions the fees collected